A video podcast for Dr. Danny Rose's Technology and Communications class, COMA 4320H1. Again, that is Technology and Communication with Dr. Rose at DBU, COMA 4320H1. So my topic here is social media, and we kind of know what social media is at this point. You know, you got your Twitter, you have your Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, I mean, MySpace back in the day. Social media it's prevalent these days a lot more than it was maybe 5 years ago. You see, even when you're watching, say, ESPN or news or CNN or something like that, you'll see somebody's, you'll see somebody's name, and right under that you'll see their Twitter handle. So social networking is a big deal these days, and social networking falls under the title of Web 2.0. And before I get going on that, just kind of showing you social networking, like, if you can see right here, this is my iPad. Top 3 sites, social networking sites. I don't know if you can see that or not. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So, the first 3 apps I downloaded when I got my iPad. So, social networking is a big deal these days. But it falls under the umbrella of Web 2.0, something we discussed earlier in the year in class. Technically, it's an umbrella term that is used to refer to a new era of web-enabled applications that are built around user-generated or user-manipulated content, such as wikis, blogs, podcasts, and social networking sites. So what does that mean? It basically means that Web 2.0 is where a lot of people come together, maybe on one site, and all these different people contribute to the site being what it is. Facebook, obviously falls under it. Twitter, like I said, everybody contributes to Facebook being Facebook. But what are social networks used for? I mean, they're fascinating. They really are. Social networks are very fascinating as to what they are and how they can be used. They're used a lot by young people who maybe are trying to build their social image. When you're 18 to 25, you're kind of just getting out of high school, going into college. Get to college, you kind of want to figure out who you are, who you want to be, who accepts you, who doesn't, stuff like that. Social networks are a way that people use, rightly or wrongly, to gauge that. Some people they'll post something on Facebook. Say, you see somebody post a photo on Facebook. You can like it, you can comment on it, you can share it with other people. You can do that with status too. Or a tweet, for example. You can look at a tweet and you think it's funny, think it's smart, you think it's true. You can retweet it or you can favorite it. Or if you think it's really stupid or you think it's really offensive, you can block that person. So people will post these things and they can get what's called peer feedback, which, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're getting feedback from other people that are using the app just like you are. So a lot of young people use it, but you see sometimes businesses will use that too. And they'll put a product out there and they'll go on their Twitter or their Facebook feed and kind of try to get an idea of what people think, try to get feedback on it. But a lot of younger people use social networks, especially Twitter these days. They'll post stuff on Twitter, just kind of see what people think, and based on whatever the reaction is to their pictures or their statuses or their tweets, will kind of help define who they become or who they try to be. Teens use social media the most. It's a fact, especially now they're growing up in technology, and with the takeoff of social media, that's just what they've known. That's what they do. 12% of teens used Twitter in 2011, which is the most used social media site. Which it's no longer Facebook. Didn't take long for Facebook to go away. 12% of teens used Twitter in 2011, but that skyrocketed to 26% of teens used Twitter in 2012. Numbers 2013 have not come in yet, obviously, because 2013 is not over. Almost over, but not quite. So you look back kind of at the history of social media. Where did it start? Where is it going? Well, it started in 1997 with a site called 6degrees.com. Kind of a precursor, honestly, to Facebook and MySpace, where you have an opportunity to connect with different people based on different levels. So maybe you're your really close friends are on level 1. Some of your other friends maybe are on level 2. Business people are on level 3. Coworkers, something like that. That didn't last for long. It lasted until about 2001. Went down. It hasn't really come back. But it took off in 2003 with the launch of sites like MySpace, which, I mean, it was basically MySpace precursor to Facebook. You know, I'm sure people have heard of it. I'm sure you've heard of it, Dr. Rose. Last.fm, excuse me, which is a kind of a music sharing site where you can go on there, you can like music, you can do what's called scrobbling, where you can kind of tell other people what you're listening to, see what they think, and see what they're listening to, and tell them what you think. And LinkedIn, which is a big deal in the professional world. A lot of people make LinkedIn profiles to try to get their name out there and see what employers think. And then YouTube in 2005 has changed everything with videos being available anywhere and everywhere. It's one of the most popular sites in the world. Facebook came in 2005. Started only with high school networks. Obviously started at Harvard, as the movie The Social Network depicts. Great movie, by the way. It was only high school networks in 2005, but by 2006 it was so popular in high school networks that it was made available to everybody. Everybody can use Facebook now, which is good, and it's kind of bad because you've got, the middle schoolers want to add their, their brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and it's annoying. Let's be honest. But moving on from that, you've got Twitter that launched in 2006, and that's what everybody's on right now. Social media, it not only allows for people to get their opinions out there and say stupid things or whatever, but it allows for people to tackle issues. You look at issues such as the genocide in Darfur, disaster relief in Haiti, and stuff like that. People are able to get their opinions out and help others, or get the information out to help others. Like, Red Cross will tweet out their phone number or their email or the hotline to donate. Or you look at the Boston Globe; their reporting that they did especially on Twitter during the Boston bombings, was impeccable. So they use social media to get their news out to others, to other outlets. Another thing you see on social media a lot is advertising. And advertising kind of tough these days because people don't click on internet banners, especially on Facebook. 99.96% of people are not clicking on Facebook banner ads anymore. So what do? Number one, if you want to do something, you have to use influential people, whether it be people that are known or, somebody famous, a famous athlete, LeBron James, a movie star, Brad Pitt, something like that. And engagement's the best way to go. You get people engaged in a product, and then engage with customers via customer service or feedback. For example, I tweeted one time about a bad Verizon service, didn't even tag Verizon in it, and within 5 minutes I got a tweet back from a Verizon representative asking where I was and how often it happened. So stuff like that, you engage with your customer base and get feedback like that, and from there you get that user, which would be me in this case, to engage with other users about Verizon. That's how you get your brand out there and known and advertised to others. Internet security now, with everybody on social media, everybody trying to be on social media, is huge. There was a poll taken not too long ago of kids between the ages of 11 and 16. 9% of these kids told their instant messaging password to friends occasionally. 20% occasionally learned about another's password, and 25% used a password that could be found in a dictionary, which is super easy to crack if somebody's just using something as simple as a dictionary password cracking software. So it kind of just shows that they don't know what they're doing necessarily, how to keep themselves safe. And then teachers were asked some of the same questions, and 42% of the teachers said that they did not teach internet safety. That applies to internet and social media. So, if you want to stay safe, you have to know that once it's posted, it's always posted. And make your passwords strong, and make them unique for different accounts. Just looking in the future real quick, you've got Medium, which is going to be known for viral blog posts, Impossible. You got Mobley, which is something to rival Instagram. Nextdoor, Facebook for a neighborhood kind of. Shots of Me, which is selfies. I'm not going to talk about it. And then you got Sports Lobster, which is kind of Twitter, basically made just for sports. So that's kind of a quick podcast on social media, where it is, how to use it, where it's going, where it's coming from. So, Dr. Rose, I hope this is kind of what you're looking for. If not, we'll have to wait and see. But this concludes my podcast. I kept it right at about 10 minutes, so that is all.